Okay, in our retro review this week for the original series, For the World is Hollow and I Have Touched the Sky, after this. Hello out there, I'm the oldest nerd, and this is an interesting episode that's centered around McCoy himself. He's rarely had more than just kind of the conscience of the captain and the Festus and Doc exchanges with Spock. But this one, they give him a love interest. From the first point that he looks at the spiritual leader of Yonada, he is smitten. And without going into the details of the episode, what do we think about this? What does it tell us about McCoy? And frankly, hardly anything. We just say, okay, he is smitten with this woman. He's decided that he's going to give up his Starfleet career to be with her because he realizes that he only has about a year to live. And when they do find out what it takes to fix things, McCoy immediately turns against his whole abandonment of Starfleet and says, come on down here. We know how you can fix this now. And while they are able to fix Yonada, he has decided that there should be some way to fix himself, that he wants to go search the universe for a new cure, and he wants the High Priestess to come along with him. She, of course, can't leave her people, but apparently he can't leave his either. I don't have a problem with the first part of this. That, there could be love at first sight. There could be a point where McCoy is realizing that he's been alone all his life. And the backstory for him was that his wife had died in the reboot. They have him divorced, but frankly, he has had a relationship before, but for one reason or another, he is not in one now, and they've never really taken this opportunity to have him more than leer at some of the women that appear on the show. Thankfully, they're not as bad with their treatment of women in this particular episode. But really, that's the only thing that I can say for it. It doesn't seem like the kind of romance that McCoy would have. And while it begins all right, its ending is, we found a solution for Yonada and we found a cure for McCoy. So let's forget about the marriage. Let's just jump on the ship and go off. And maybe we'll visit you again, which they never did. I don't think that McCoy could have fallen so hard for someone over the course of a day if that was just a matter of his reaching out for something before he dies. But would that be the way that he would want to go, is to basically give up and just marry someone and live in a different society? I mean, if I found that I were dying, I'd want to be amongst my friends. I wouldn't want to find somebody new and say goodbye everybody else. And I don't think McCoy would either. And by the same token, if you're going to make that kind of commitment and you decide to go through it with it and then say, things have changed. If you don't want to come with me, that's okay. We'll just pretend that we never got married. It's just it doesn't hold together once you look at it under any kind of light. The fact that the Oracle, despite having all the abilities that it has, cannot tell that its own system is off course or that it's in a collision course with another planet. This is something that probably that should have been programmed into the system. And the malfunction is systemic. And then in any kind of attempt to correct things, it is opposed by the Oracle. It doesn't make sense that if there was to be some kind of control system there, that there was going to be an instruction book, shouldn't that also be something that could be consulted if things went wrong? And a lot of it is just kind of thrown up there, and here's a show, let's get it over with, let's move on. So I think it could have been made better I don't think that the premise behind it is bad, that the acting behind it was bad, that much of the writing of it, but it was just a matter of correcting a few little details. And all of it that was made it bad was where we have to have Kirk and Spock charge in and be electrocuted, or have the heat turned on, or who knows what, and it'd be heroic. It's the problem with the setting up of how the casting of the show was to begin with, even though that they were billed together, Shatner, Nimoy, and Kelly. If the show is going to be about the Doctor, the captain still has to do something heroic, and Spock has to be there to advise it. He was the only other person in the medical that could give McCoy the treatment, by the way. We have established that there are other doctors. They're mentioned on a number of occasions, and of course we've even seen Dr. Mbenga. But in this case, there's nobody but Chapel and McCoy there, and Spock is sitting there with a tricorder saying, well, your medical stuff looks pretty good. It's just a matter of, well, we got to put our stars in it. We can't make it believable. We got to put our stars in it so they deserve their big paychecks or whatever. So I'm disappointed in this. I think that it's not a complete loss like Spock's brain was, but what's disappointing about it is that it could have been so much better with just a few minor changes in a rewrite. And that seems to be what I'm seeing in a lot of the third season episodes. A good rewrite would have made many of these mediocre shows pretty good, and might not have made the worst ones quite so bad. We do these retro reviews on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. Babylon 5 coming up this Friday. Deep Space Nine, of course, is on Tuesday. And we will be covering the next Doctor Who. There are 2 more Doctor Who specials coming up, and we'll be covering those on the next couple of Mondays. And then, of course, the Christmas special, we'll get on as quickly as we can to see just what we derive from that. So if you like any of this, please subscribe, and of course, leave your comments below. And as always, we thank you for coming in and listening to what we have to say here, and I'd like to hear what you have to say. So until next time, don't go far.